Okay guys, so it's part 2 of the folio and we're fixing to address these flaps. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this one. Let me turn it. This is what I did here. I created a pocket. You can see I put a little Velcro under it and I have a little bit of give to it. Not a whole lot because I need it to stay kind of flat because of where it is. But I did a little accordion give in there. So that's Velcro down and I like it. So that way I can put stuff in it and it won't fall out. Of course I haven't got any, adornments on it yet, but that's how that goes. We're going to do it up here so I can show you how to do the same thing. So let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is we have to line this because I don't want this to be just plain. I want to put some paper behind it. And this guy is 8 1/4. So we're going to do this at 7 7/8. And it's 4 1/4 this way. I've already measured that, so I know it. So I'm going to cut that really quick. So this is our piece cut. Now the other thing I did was on one end, I rounded the corners. And I want this wood part to show, so I'm going to round this top corner so it'll lay correctly. And I'm just going to use my 1/2 inch on my corner chomper. It's not the exact same curve, but I don't think it's enough to notice. So I'm going to bring this over. We're going to be working with this sideways a good bit because it fits in the camera sideways better than any other way. So we will put some adhesive on this. And I'm going to continue using what came in the kit. You just use whatever adhesive you've got, but this works well and is convenient. This is the 1/4 inch score tape. For this one, make sure you put a good bit of adhesive, and the reason being, this one's going to have that pocket, and you're going to be opening the flap to that pocket, over and over again, and you don't want this to release and cause your pocket to be wasted. So I'm using probably more than I need, but anytime I have an area that's going to take some pressure or, it's going to get some wear and tear, I usually go overboard with adhesive. It's better to do it now than have to make repairs later. Okay, so I've exposed all that adhesive. And my rounded corners are on this end. So I'm just going to lay this down. Like so. Just burnish that into place. This paper is so perfect for this folio. It is beautiful. Alright, now let's make the pocket. So we need to do some scoring. So I've got my scoreboard out. And I'm going to use a piece of 8 1/2 by 11 inch craft colored cardstock. It's the same thing I was using to make my pages with in the last video. By the way, if you haven't seen the first video, I will link it below, and I will make this a playlist, so every time you come to it, you'll be able to check the playlist out. Alright, let's do some scoring. For our first score lines, I have my notes, my cheat sheet off to the side, so this will be easier. The first one we're going to score at 1 1/4. Okay, then the next one at 7 1/4. This is giving us the width of our pocket. Now the next thing we want to do, I'm going to go ahead and score the accordion part so I don't have to come back and do it. So we're just going to come here and we're going to score it 1/2 inch in. So that's 8 inches. And then at 1/2 inch here. And if you have problems, I'll show you. See how that did? If you have problems with that, turn your paper around and just score it at 8 again. And that'll be a 1/2 inch in on the other side. Okay, so that's our up and down score. Now let's turn it sideways. And these scores are going to be at 3 1/2 here. And this one is going to be at 7 3/4 here. Okay, now we have to make one more little score. And what we're going to do is from this score line, your 7 3/4 score line, I want you to come up to 7. And you're going to score from 7 to the side of this pocket right here. So it's a little short score. This is just for you to have a reference for where to cut. Okay, so you're not going to fold on it. So I'm going to flip it over and go back to 7. And this is just to cut. So just make it where you can see it. Okay. Now you're going to take your scissors and we're going to cut that line we scored at 7. And we're going to cut up from the bottom and so you'll see what we did there. Let me move it where you can see it. See how I did that? So we're cutting from this inside score line to the little short score line that we made. This will make sense when we put it together. Okay, then down here, we're just going to cut from this score line out here, up, And the same thing on this side. Now I'm going to turn it sideways and show you what we ended up with. See that? So your bottom is going to be here. Your top flap is going to be here. This will make sense in a second. I can move my scoreboard out of the way. So this base will fold up. The way you know this is the bottom of the pocket, your accordion flap matches it. See, that's why we had to do that 7-inch score line. This one goes above it just a little bit, and it folds down like this. So your base will come up, your top will come down, okay? And this becomes your accordion. Now you'll fold this in, okay? You're going to fold this flap out. You'll notice these are not equal in size. That is perfectly fine. I did that so I could get an accordion, but not a big puffy accordion. That's going to help it to be not quite as loose. If you need it to be a little bigger, make your accordion fold right in the middle, and you'll get a little larger of a pocket. Alright, before I do anything, I want to go ahead and mat these two pieces, this top and this bottom, so that they are covered. And this flap will get a piece that is 5 3/4 by 3. And the way I know that is I measure the actual size and take off 1/4 of an inch, and that gets me a good matte edge. So here's the top piece. Now the bottom piece, let's set that down, is going to be 5 3/4 by 3 1/4. So I have my adhesive on it, and then I will mat it here. Matting from upside down is not easy. There we go. Okay, so the only other thing I want to do here is put my adhesive inside here, and I'm just going to use my score tape for that. Just put a piece down. Now I'm just going to expose this adhesive by removing this backer strip. I want to show you something. To avoid the frustration of doing this and it popping back on itself over and over, when you lift it, kind of fold it, and it won't do that. Just kind of press it down with your knife or whatever you're using to lift it with. Alright, and then I'm going to press these guys down as good as I can, like so. The biggest thing is starting with the bottom, because you want that to be tighter anyway. And then just let them go into place. So now you see you have that little puffy pocket. Not too bad, but a little bit. Now I closed my first one with some Velcro, and I want to do the same thing. This is some Velcro I get from, I think it's EK Success that makes this, and it's super easy. You just place it kind of centered here, like so, okay? Then you peel the backer off of this side. Then you just close it. And when you do that, it lines up perfectly for you. Now let's put this into the folio. And it's going to go right here. Now again, this is going to get a lot of wear and tear, so make sure you put a lot of adhesive on it. So I have my adhesive on, and it is ready to go down. Just line it up in the center. This is hard for me to do because I'm totally upside down at this point. There we go. This Velcro is really strong at first, and it loosens. I try to not slam it down, but there's that top pocket. Isn't that cool? And of course we can decorate it. And what's really neat about it is, let me bring this into the picture. I'm going to have to do this sideways, okay? What's really neat is when I open this, the top is at the top, and when I open the bottom, the top is at the top. Now when you put them up, the things that are in this pocket are going to kind of fall down because they're closing, but they'll be like that. So we have our pockets done on our flaps. I like those. Alright, now I want to try to go ahead and get some of the busy work done. And this one has a little bit of busy work. These pockets that we made, I want to put covers on these. So let me measure them. This one is 4 3/4. And this should be 6 3/4, and it is. So you're going to cut the pieces for these pockets 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and you're going to need 12 of them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cover all of them but one, and then we'll do that last one together so you can see how that's done. Okay, so I've covered these, and now we're going to do these two together. And all I have done is cut these pages down to be the right size for our mat. Peel the backer off and then put our mat onto the pocket. And then we got one more to do here. I love this wood grain so much. Alright, so they are done. So there's the pockets, like so. Now I want to show you, these papers are not from the same collection. This one, this one, this one, these two, this one and this one are not from the same collection, or this one. The reason is I made a lot of things that needed to be covered, and I didn't have enough paper in that pack to be able to make sure I use it for the bigger areas that I want to cover. So if you're going to do that, you know, if you're not sure, just put your collection papers to the front, and something like this, no one's going to notice it's not the same. This, they're not going to pay attention to that, and it's just kind of hidden in there, and that'll stretch your paper. So just go through your stash and see what you've got. So we have now done our top and bottom pocket here. Okay, we've done our pages here, and they're ready for embellishment. We need to cover the inside middle, and what I'm going to do is just mat it for now. I want to show you this. These little elastic pieces, they will come out if you want to take those out and get them out of your way. But to be honest, I don't want to take them out because I don't want to take a chance of covering them, because I'm bad about that. So I'm going to measure between them. And so that's going to be 10.5 by 6 3/4. So I'm going to find a page for here. 10.5 by 6 3/4. Now I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to put on here yet. I think it may be a place for notes, or who knows. I'm going to go ahead and round the corners just to kind of give it a finished look, because I'm not going to mat it with anything else. It's going to do the job all by itself. I love this paper. Look how good that looks there. It kind of makes that have a purpose. And now this is ready to mat. And again, I put a lot of score tape because I want it to be nice and sturdy on here. Not exactly sure what's going there, but I really like that as a good landing point for something. While I'm over here, I'm going to go ahead and mat this little section too. I'm not going to mat this because this is going to get some turning and some wear and tear, but I want to mat this little strip. And it is going to be 2 inches by 11.5. I like this here, and I'm going to go ahead and round these corners where it meets that other round. Again, I'm using the 1/2 inch. Okay, so I've got this one ready with the adhesive. I'm just going to mat this little area. Just for pretty. Looks good. This paper just really makes this whole portfolio. Okay, so now we have pockets. We have our pockets covered. We've covered our flap. It's time to address the inside. And I'm going to do that in a separate video because I want to do some fun stuff here that'll be a little different. And then we'll work on these guys and the cover and the back. Then we can start embellishing. Alright guys, I hope you're enjoying this little kind of mini series that we're doing. And I will catch you guys later for the rest of it. If you're interested in this kit, all the links are below for Scrapbooking with Me Boutique. And I want to say thanks to Edith for asking me to do this. I'm having a lot of fun. So thanks guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.